thought I was born to be a criminal. I'm going to die a criminal. I thought that was my destiny. I was convinced about that.
Is it true today that when people pray, cloudless skies will break?
So I'm one of the pastors here, as well as the evangelist, so I travel wide and far, as well as involved in pastoral responsibilities here at the church. I'm also involved in the Tuesday morning program, and here we have between 60, 70, 80 people sometimes that come in from the community, and we assist them, we help them with various needs, pray for some, help others financially or with food, and as well as put a meal. We have a community meal once every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, and we sit down, have a meal, and I guess I share, I bring the word. You know, Jesus said, man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. So I'll bring the word of God to the people, and you know, I guess I want them to find the same you know, hope that I found. I just want to share that hope with the people, and I love it, you know. So I desire to just give myself to this work and just help people in general, just to reach out, you know, to love them and to share, you know, the answers that I myself have found.
So Nick, can you tell us a bit about your family?
Mate, my father was a tyrant. He ruled the house with an iron fist. You know, if I did something wrong, you know, he would, mate, literally kill me. You know, take out the belt, mate, just bang, bang, bang. You know, whack. You know, just wouldn't stop. Or lift me up, stick me under the water upside down as a means of discipline. I used to think that everybody lives like this, that it's a common thing, you know, to see your mum getting dragged up and down the hall, you know, kicked and punched, and but I realised that that's not the way, you know, it should be. At the age of 11, I came home from school one day and my mum wasn't there, and I said to my dad, "Where's mum?" And he said, "She's not here, she's not coming home again, and don't ask me where she is." So I lived like that for a period of 3 months, not knowing where she was. And then one day my mum turned up at the school, primary school where I was at, and she took us, myself and my brother, and we just fled from my father's presence. And just literally with the clothes on our backs. Ended up in a little house, no furniture, a table with 3 chairs. For a lounge we had just a blanket that we sat on. Someone gave us a black and white TV set. My mum slept on the ground with a little alarm clock that would wake her up so she can go to work in the morning. And she had saved up enough money to buy myself and my brother a bed. But that was it, you know. I realised that I had taken on a new role, that I actually had to look after my mum and my little brother. You know, I'd often hear my mum going to bed at night crying and just wondering, you know, how we're going to pay the bills. So I guess I started stealing, and started stealing yo-yos and flick knives, actually. And started a bit of a business at school, selling them half price. You know, so I had quite a business actually happening, you know. So I started saving money, started buying things, bought a fridge and a telly and paid some bills, and the money started coming in. And I guess I look back now, that was my apprenticeship.
I met Nick roughly about 27 years ago in Croydon when I first moved there. We grew up in a pretty violent society, so only support we had back those days is each other, you know, just the boys. That was the brotherhood we had, because we weren't getting any support at home, you know.
The teacher used to remind me of my dad, one of my teachers. So I used to hate going to school, so I decided to burn it down. You know, so that was my way of just dealing with problems, you know. I thought, man, I don't want to go to school. I don't think it's right that anybody has to go to school, you know, so I just set a match, you know, to the school. So I got caught, found myself behind bars in a boys' home. By the age of 17 and a half, I became one of the worst juvenile delinquents in the state. You know, I look at my records now and I just, mate, can't believe it. You know, I think to myself, Nick, what possessed you? You know, but I had psychologists, psychiatrists trying to, you know, work out what the problem is. Very rebellious, very hard. Never used to think about, you know, what I used to do. My parole officer used to say to me, Nick, you know, if you don't stop and think before you act, you're going to kill somebody. You're going to spend the rest of your life in jail.
We were trying to, I suppose, make our name for ourselves, you know, and the area we came from, we just sort of wanted to make a reputation. That was the only thing we had back those days, because we had nothing else, you know.
You know, looking back now, there's only one thing that used to scare me, and that was knowing that one day the cops are going to knock on my mother's door and say, Mrs. Psaros, we found your son dead.
When I was first dating him, because he sort of like started picking me up every day and we'd go for drives. I wondered why he didn't work, and he said that he travels a lot and deals in diamonds. So I thought, oh, this is interesting, because he did. He'd bring home jewellery and show me jewellery. I didn't know where he'd gotten it, but he'd said he was dealing and that was his job. It was a while before I knew what he was really into.
Did you ever make an effort to change, and how did change come about?
I was about 17 and a half years of age, and I was on a job, and the police rocked up. And I just bolted, I just ran. And the cops started chasing. They got a bit tired, so one of the cops pulls out his gun and it says, "Stop or I'll shoot." And I was feeling it was zigzagger at school, so I started zigzagging, you know, and mate, twice, mate, you know. He shot at me, and I just kept on running, kept on jumping fences. Got home, my feet were cut, exhausted. As a result of that, and a number of other things that happened in that week, I began to question, you know, whether I should, you know, quit crime and try to go straight. So I actually set myself on a course, mate, to do that. And I wanted to get drug free. You know, I wanted to get myself a job, and I wanted to change my life, and that's what I did. I actually committed myself over a period of 8 months, where I actually got myself a job for the first time. I got myself off drugs, no more drugs. I actually became a fitness fanatic, and I became addicted, mate, to training. I joined the local gymnasium, started boxing. Right? So I would spend hours just punching the bag, you know, and I stopped even hanging around with my friends. I just wanted a break from everything, just wanted to try hard. I guess it didn't work. First job lasted for 4 months, second job lasted for 3 months, and the third job lasted for 1 month. And I realised that I had a problem with authority. When somebody gave me orders, you know, mate, I used to think they're picking a fight. So I thought to myself, well, this time I'm going to make, you know, crime my career. Play it right, do it smart, learn from all my mistakes. And that's exactly what I did, mate. I sold myself out to organised crime, to do it in a professional manner. I still remember sitting around the kitchen table, got out a blank piece of paper, and I began to write down all the things that I thought I needed to make me happy. And it worked out to about $500,000. And I thought if I had $500,000, I'd be very happy. I'd be the happiest man in the world. And I basically just went for it. So 6 years later, I'd accumulated a lot of wealth. You know, bought myself, you know, a beautiful 930 turbo Porsche. That was the second Porsche. I mean, I had a beautiful 911 SC, but I remember driving past the showroom and I saw a beautiful, nice gold 930 turbo Porsche, and I thought, man, I want that, you know. So just went in and bought it. Building a house that was worth $500,000 alone. Just laid the foundations, you know, to build the house. In today's value, $2.5 million up in Tennyson Heights. So the money was no problem. The money was coming in thick and fast.
Nick was really good at what he used to do. He used to, you know, have this charisma about himself, and a lot of people, they used to look up to him, you know. And me and Nick and a few of our boys, we were pretty good at doing what we had to do to make a lot of money real fast, you know. At our age, when we were, I don't know, in our early 20s, our paycheck used to be roughly, I don't know, $40,000 a month. And that's not bad money for young boys, huh?
So I guess I was happy because I used to think, this is it. This is all that life has to offer. And I've got the best of everything.
It was a funny life because it was high and then there were lows as well. Like there were many really big highs, lots of money, lots of fashion, lots of eating out, the high life of travelling and stuff like that. I think when you're in that sort of situation, it's like it's an abusive relationship really, because when you're in it, you don't even realise how bad it is until people on the outside are looking in and saying how bad it is.
It was only through a friend of mine, a friend who was, you know, a partner in crime. This guy was a drug dealer, drug user, and his life was spiralling out of control. He was using, mate, hard drugs. He'd just been to Thailand for a couple of weeks. You know, he got back, mate, looked like death warmed up, and I'm shaking him, telling him, buddy, mate, open up your eyes and have a look at yourself, you know, what are you doing? But no matter what I said, my words just fell to the ground.